I was at a conference recently where the keynote speaker told the story of a kid who was looking for a programming teacher and found one via Twitter, and who then conducted classes via Skype between the US and Australia. And that got me thinking, what if kids don't need schools, teachers, or standards to learn what they needed to learn? Maybe kids and teachers can find each other on an ad hoc basis for the price of an internet connection. It seems like everyone agrees that some kind of education reform is necessary, but no one can agree on exactly what is needed. Some people say that entrenched teachers' unions are to blame, and politicians seem like they have their answer. Heck, even social media CEOs are getting in on the act. But by seeking to reform the school, aren't we confusing the fundamental with the temporary? That's the mistake Blockbuster made when it confused its fundamental goal of entertaining people in their homes with the temporary means of renting VHS tapes. And it's also the mistake that the Chicago Tribune made when it confused its fundamental goal of informing people with the temporary means of combining ads and news on pieces of paper. When a new business model came along that was more effectively able to address these fundamental goals, these brick and mortar businesses just couldn't innovate. And my question is, are brick and mortar schools soon to follow? If the fundamental goal of education is to give students knowledge in exchange for tax dollars and tuition fees, then why is MIT giving away its knowledge for free on iTunes University? And why did the Khan Academy get a $3 million grant from Google to give its knowledge away in even more languages than it already does? What would happen if someone built a social layer to go on top of these vast bodies of knowledge? What if it became as easy for teachers and students to find each other as it is, say, to create the world's most widely used encyclopedia? Sure, pragmatic realists will point out at this point that schools fulfill another important function. They take care of young people so parents can go to work. So what I'm going to do is buy a room full of old Dells and hook them up to iTunes U. By my rough calculations on the back of a napkin, if I can get one student to come just 5 hours a day for one school year, and I charge below market rate babysitting rates, that's worth about $4,500. If I can scale that up to a modest class size of just 30 students, then this is starting to look like a pretty attractive proposition. But don't forget, the fundamental purpose of education isn't to babysit children, or even to just give them knowledge. That's as far off the mark as assuming that the fundamental purpose of Blockbuster was to rent VHS tapes, or that the Chicago Tribune existed to sell pieces of paper. I believe that the fundamental purpose of education is to create a political and economic and environmental future that will serve our nation well. And if that's the case, no amount of reform is going to get us there, because schools, as we currently know them, are just a temporary solution to this better and more durable goal. So let's outsource the delivery of content and make schools places where kids and adults do real work, engage with real problems, and apply what they've learned in ways we haven't even imagined yet. The vision, technology, and money are all there. So now's the time to change the dialogue of education reformation to that of education innovation.